You see their stories, you like their posts, you comment ILY under their pics. But when was the last time you actually talked, like really talked? Not a quick DM, not a meme, but a deep conversation. If your digital friendships feel weirdly distant, even with constant updates, you're not imagining it. Social media promised connection, but often delivers a different kind of loneliness. Welcome to Friendship in the Feed. Are we still truly connected? If this feeling resonates with you, subscribe to Gen Shift. You're not alone. Let's explore this together. Constant connection, deep connection. The paradox of proximity. Let's start with the fundamental paradox. We have more friends than any generation in history. Our feeds are a constant rolling update of hundreds of lives. Yet study after study, including warnings from former U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy, points to a growing epidemic of loneliness. This isn't a coincidence. It's a design feature. The architecture of our social lives has been rebuilt on a foundation that prioritizes quantity over quality, creating an illusion of proximity that often masks a profound lack of deep connection. The mechanism is passive consumption. You scroll through a friend's vacation photos, their new job announcement, their weekend brunch. You feel like you know what's going on. You're in the loop. Group chats, once hubs of conversation, become notification centers for memes and logistics. The sheer volume of updates creates a sense of ambient awareness, but it's a low-effort, one-way street. We're consuming data about our friends, not sharing experiences with them. This constant stream of information satisfies our need to feel connected, but it does so without the reciprocal, sometimes difficult work of real friendship. Sociologically, this is where our digital lives collide with our evolutionary limits. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar famously proposed that the human brain can only maintain about 150 stable social relationships. This is Dunbar's number. Within that, we have an inner circle of about 5 and layers of closeness extending outward. Social media encourages us to shatter this limit, accumulating thousands of friends, but our brains can't keep up. As political scientist Robert Putnam described in Bowling Alone, we're trading bonding capital, the deep trusting ties that form our support system, for bridging capital, a vast network of weaker, more superficial connections. Think about it this way: you have a finite amount of social energy. Every minute you spend scrolling through the lives of 500 acquaintances is a minute you're not investing in a deep conversation with one of your 5 closest friends. You see their Spotify Wrapped, their Barreel, their new relationship status. You know all the bullet points of their life, but you haven't heard their voice crack when they talk about something that truly matters. You haven't sat in comfortable silence with them. You know of them, but do you still know them? This isn't a personal failure, it's a systemic one. We've been encouraged to build friendships that are a mile wide and an inch deep. The result is a portfolio of weak ties that looks impressive on a screen, but offers little comfort in a crisis. This isn't a paradox of connection. It's the predictable outcome of a system that misallocates our most precious resource, our capacity for genuine human intimacy. But the issue goes deeper than just the number of friends we have. It's about how the very nature of friendship is being subtly redefined by the platforms we use every day. This has led to a strange new phenomenon, the ambient friendship. And that's next. The rise of ambient friendship, knowing without interacting. So what is an ambient friendship? It's a term that describes the feeling of closeness we get simply by being aware of the small, intimate details of someone's life without ever having to directly communicate. It's intimacy through osmosis. It's knowing without ever asking that your friend is rewatching Fleabag, that they're tired because their Barreel went off at 2 a.m., or that they're feeling nostalgic from a song they shared on their Instagram story. This is engineered. Features like Instagram stories with their ephemeral, behind-the-scenes feel are designed for this continuous, low-bandwidth stream of information. Barreel takes it a step further, forcing a raw, unfiltered glimpse into a moment, creating a powerful collective sense of shared reality. Even sending a TikTok has become a primary form of communication, a low-effort ping that says, "I'm thinking of you," replacing the need for an actual conversation. It feels like closeness, but it's often an illusion. This creates what we might call the parasocial peer. The term parasocial relationship used to describe the one-sided bond fans felt with celebrities. But now we apply that same dynamic to people in our own networks. We follow the lives of hundreds of mutuals with an obsessive detail once reserved for our best friends, developing feelings of loyalty and connection to people we may not truly know. As the pioneering MIT sociologist Sherry Turkle warned, we are creating an illusion of companionship without the demands of friendship. For millennials who remember a time before this constant feed, there can be a lingering sense of disconnect. They adapted to this world, but they remember when connection required more active effort. For Gen Z who were born into it, this ambient awareness is the default state of friendship. Managing a vast network of mutuals through passive observation is second nature. It's not better or worse, it's just a different operating system for social life. Consider the common exchange of sending TikToks back and forth with a friend for days without a single word exchanged. It's a thread of connection, a shared language of memes and trends. It says, "I get you. This made me think of you." It fulfills a social need, but it's a snack, not a meal. It provides the taste of connection without the nutritional value of a real conversation. You're both laughing at the same video alone in your respective rooms. This ambient friendship blurs the line between being a friend and being an audience member. It can lead to a feeling of being constantly watched rather than truly seen. And it creates a subtle pressure to be a good ambient friend. You must produce a steady stream of ambient content. Your life must be interesting enough to be passively consumed. This constant need to perform to prove you exist leads us to our next major shift. Emotional outsourcing and performance. The public confessional. When was the last time you had a truly difficult, vulnerable conversation in a DM? For many, the answer is never. The deep, messy, complicated parts of life feel too heavy for a text chat. Instead, a strange new behavior has emerged: emotional outsourcing. We are increasingly taking our most private feelings and performing them for a public audience, seeking support from strangers rather than our closest friends. This is the world of the public confessional. Think of the trauma dumping trend on TikTok, where users share deeply personal stories of hardship to an audience of millions. A 2024 analysis of #TraumaTalk found that videos of personal disclosure garnered hundreds of millions of likes. Think of the carefully crafted Notes app screenshot posted to an Instagram story detailing a private struggle for public consumption. This allows for a massive wave of validation without the messiness and reciprocal demands of a real-time, intimate conversation. The psychological drivers are clear. There's a fear of burdening our actual friends. A real conversation requires their time, their emotional energy, and their response. A TikTok video asks for nothing but a passive view and maybe a supportive comment. The algorithm rewards this vulnerability, amplifying it and creating an instant feedback loop of validation from countless anonymous users. It's a powerful, low-risk way to feel heard. Here we see a generational divide in comfort levels. Gen Z, often more open about mental health, may find genuine community and solace in this public vulnerability. It destigmatizes their struggles and connects them with others who have similar experiences. Millennials, who were socialized to believe that deep emotional sharing should be private, might find this trend unsettling, viewing it as a performance of pain rather than a genuine call for help. Imagine this scenario. A young person crafts a perfect heart-wrenching TikTok about their anxiety. It goes viral. They receive thousands of comments. "You're so brave. I feel this so much. Stay strong." They feel seen, validated, and less alone. But later that week, when they try to have a raw, stumbling conversation about that same anxiety with their best friend, it feels awkward and difficult. The friend doesn't have the perfect, algorithmically tested response. The conversation is messy. The immediate rush of validation isn't there. And so the user feels a strange sense of isolation even when sitting next to someone who truly loves them. This shift has profound implications. It can erode our capacity for navigating difficult one-on-one conversations. It prioritizes the superficial rush of mass validation over the deep, trusting work of mutual support. We risk becoming experts at performing our pain, but amateurs at sharing it in a way that builds true, resilient intimacy. Friendship on display, the curated connection. Beyond outsourcing our pain, we are now curating our joy. Friendships are becoming less of a private bond and more of a public performance, something to be displayed, optimized, and validated by an audience. It's the era of the curated connection, where the perceived quality of a friendship is often measured by its postability. The mechanisms are everywhere. It's the pressure to create bestie content, perfectly aestheticized TikToks of friends laughing in slow motion. It's the public declarations of support in a comment section designed as much for the audience as for the friend. And most iconically, it's the elaborate birthday story collage. This ritual has become a source of genuine anxiety, finding the right photos, writing a caption that is heartfelt but not cringy, ensuring the final product is a worthy public testament to the friendship. It's a performance of affection. This is driven by a supercharged version of what psychologists call social comparison theory. We are constantly bombarded with the highlight reels of other people's friendships, leading to a competitive pressure to prove that our own connections are just as strong, just as fun, just as real. A friendship becomes a form of social capital, and the online display is how we cash it in. Gen Z, as masters of the digital aesthetic, is incredibly skilled at curating their friendships for both visual appeal and social status. For millennials who came of age with the early network-focused versions of social media, the pressure can be more about proving that their social circle is still intact and thriving, a holdover from the days when your friend count was a public metric of your worth. Think about the last time you made a birthday post for a close friend. How much of that effort was for them and how much was for the 200 other people who would see it? Did you worry about which photos to choose? Did you feel a sense of relief once it was posted, like you had fulfilled a public duty? This anxiety reveals the shift. The focus moves from the intrinsic value of the relationship, the private jokes, the shared history, to its extrinsic display. This culture of performativity can breed insecurity and jealousy. It makes us question the reality of our own bonds. If a friendship isn't being documented, does it still count? This pressure to turn our private connections into public content creates a dangerous feedback loop where our relationships can feel hollow, inauthentic, and ultimately more like a brand partnership than a genuine bond. Do your online friendships feel close or curated? Have you ever felt lonely surrounded by friends in your feed? Drop a for true connection or a for silent group chats in the comments and tell us what friendship means to you now. The ghost town effect, DMs, unread chats, silent IRL hangs rare. What happens when the pressure of constant connection, ambient awareness, and performative friendship becomes too much? You get the ghost town effect. It's a collective social burnout, a widespread withdrawal that leaves our digital spaces feeling eerily quiet. It's the DMs left unseen, the group chats that have fallen silent, and the in-person hangouts that feel too exhausting to even plan. This communication breakdown happens in subtle ways. There's soft ghosting, the slow fade where responses become shorter, more delayed until they disappear altogether. It's a low confrontation exit strategy for a world with too many low-stakes connections. Then there's the anxiety of the seen zone, the modern purgatory of knowing your message has been read, but not replied to, turning silence into an active signal of rejection. This scales up to our friend groups. We're all part of that once vibrant group chat that is now a digital graveyard populated only by old memes. The silence is deafening, and it's perpetuated by a collective fear. No one wants to be the one to send that hopeful, "Hey, how is everyone?" only to be met with more silence. The fear of being the last one to message, of being publicly ignored, is a powerful deterrent. This digital retreat has real-world consequences. After months of low-effort interaction, liking stories, sending memes, the idea of an actual in-person hangout can feel like a monumental effort. The anxiety is real. What do we even talk about? The very tools that were meant to make connections easier have paradoxically made the highest form of connection, face-to-face interaction, feel harder and more intimidating. Gen Z, who have never known a world without this pressure, may be more likely to accept ghosting as a natural, if unpleasant, part of social life. For millennials who remember a time of dial-up and planned phone calls, being left on read can trigger a deeper sense of abandonment anxiety. Picture that dead group chat. Everyone in it likely feels a little lonely, a little abandoned. They probably miss the easy banter they once had, but the collective weight of digital burnout has created a social paralysis. The effort required to type a message, to risk rejection, to organize a real-life plan feels like too much. So everyone waits, and the silence grows. This isn't just people being flaky, it's a systemic exhaustion. The ghost town effect is a rational, self-preservational response to a social system that demands an unsustainable amount of performative energy. We're not just ghosting each other, we're ghosting the system itself. Conclusion and recap. So where does this leave us? We've seen how the promise of constant connection can lead to shallow bonds, how ambient friendship creates an illusion of intimacy. We've started outsourcing our emotions and performing our friendships for a public audience. and how the cumulative weight of it all leads to burnout and the digital ghost town. Social media promised to keep us closer than ever, but for many in Gen Z and millennials, it has delivered a paradoxical loneliness. But this is not a eulogy for friendship. As scholar Sherry Turkle argues in her book, Reclaiming Conversation, the solution isn't to abandon technology, but to reclaim the human-centered skills we've let atrophy. Friendship has undeniably changed, but genuine connection still matters perhaps more than ever. Maybe the answer isn't about logging off completely. Maybe it's about logging in with more intention, prioritizing deep conversations over passive scrolling, valuing authentic vulnerability over curated performance, and actively choosing to bridge the digital gap with real-world presence. For Gen Z and millennials, navigating this new landscape means redefining what close truly means and striving for a quality of connection that feeds the soul, not just the feed. If this episode made you think of someone, don't just tag them. Text them, call them, reconnect. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and tag the friend who you'd sit in silence with no feed required. Follow GenShift for more real talk on modern life and connection.